Good afternoon, everyone. Let's please wait for a few more minutes while the others join, and then we can get started. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to Swift Bengaluru's online meetup. So, yeah, this weekend, I'm sure it's not just the weekend vibes that we are having with Christmas and New Year coming up. Yeah, even the year-end vibes are also rushing in. So, yeah, I know it's too early to wish, but yeah, wishing you all a very happy New Year. And we have two very interesting talks lined up for today's session. Yes, so without much delay, let's quickly look into the agenda for this meetup. Yeah. So we have the first talk where it is basically on the evolution of Swiggy's Dine Out. So why and how did they move from React Native to native iOS? And the second talk is for all the enthusiasts who are into iOS coding and also into cinematography. So it's on turning an iPhone into a film-ready virtual camera. Oh, yeah. So we actually had three talks for the day. Unfortunately, the third talk could not be included in today's meetup. So we have two talks lined up. And then we'll have a few community updates given, followed by the networking. We can just socialize with everyone. Yeah. So without much delay, yeah, let's start off with this session. First talk for the day. I would like to welcome Aviral Garg, STE3 working at Swiggy.
Yeah, hi everyone. Let me- So, yeah, everyone, I'm Oberil, and today I'm excited to walk you through the biggest transition we did at Swiggy app. And I'll tell you why we moved Dine Out from React Native to native, and more importantly, how we executed that without like disturbing our millions of users. So, and So I'll basically explain you how React Native worked well for us in our 0 to 1 journey and how native is helping us in our 1 to N with like quality performance and skill. Yeah. So firstly, I'll give you more of a background of our Swiggy app. As you everyone know, Swiggy is not like a single app. It's it's ho- it's host of a like it contains a lot of other applications, like lot of business lines. For example, food, Instamart, Dine Out, gift tables, scenes. So a lot of other things are also there, which is there in same container. So before like before like in 2014 when Swiggy started, we are a single app and now we have very like traffic heavy BLs. So then when like we started with Dine, we chose React Native, which basically gives us very like high level things to do and so that like we can integrate it without very much native intervention. So I'll tell you why did RN fit us initially. So when like Swiggy acquired Dine, the business needed to go live very fast. So Swiggy needed to onboard Dine quickly after the acquisition to go into the market. So we chose RN, which is way perfect to validate product market fit, whether it's working great or how's the response. So RN basically is like you can choose a smaller team which could ship more surfaces across the platform, Android and iOS. But when the adoption increased and like screens become more heavy, screens become complex, then cracks starting appeared. So like then I'll tell you what limitations we had with RN bundling. First one was the first time load delay. So like the RN bundle loading, JS bundle initialization, and bridge setups and everything, it takes a lot of time. So when majorly in the you can say PN flows, we were seeing like delays and everything. So that was one of the limitation. And then as we were in React Native. In React Native bundle, I'll tell you, other apps were also there in Swiggy's ecosystem, and we had to maintain duplicate design system. This is like something Swiggy specific, but if you are working on a scale, so you must have a like design library. So we have to maintain one is in the RN. So RN has to be its own design library, and one was in native. So we have to maintain both, which is a very tedious task to maintain same typographies, colors, reuse. Like we need to create reusable items, molecules, and everything. And another pain point was larger bundle size and navigation and deep linking was like little bit bottleneck there. Now I'll talk why like Swift UI UI kit or native became a clear choice. So firstly, everyone say performance. So native allows us to leverage like instant startup, no JS bridges, no bundling, nothing. Very smoother animations. We achieved very good FPS on scroll heavy pages. As you everyone know, like dine out is very media heavy. So we achieved good scroll behaviors on SRP, like search results page, dine out home, search. And we achieved like we were thinking to achieve like we should have one single design system. So no duplication between RN and native. And if like you are creating two things, then inconsistencies will not leave you behind. Inconsistencies will be there. And we thought of if we achieve this, so inconsistencies will be very less. And as I talk on the terms of Swiggy scale, long-term maintainability is also a very big thing. So it will be a clean architecture if we move to single stack for everything. And yeah, that's how we went there and solve for this. Then now I'll tell you how Swiggy's architecture was before migration and after migration. So before migration, what we had one RN layer sitting inside the app, which contains like JS bundle, React components, and we were using GraphQL to coordinate with the backend and everything. And we were having a backend for front-end layer. We call it proxy, where we maintain all this GraphQL and stuff, and we just get the required data. Then we have bridges and everything. I'll show you one visual picture of this. So this is a root app. This is food. This is IM. IM was mostly in few parts were in web and few parts were in native. Now everything is in native. Then inside the Swiggy root app, there is a React Native bundle where we had minis time out, which is like coordinating with proxy layer, backend for frontend, and that is like connecting to the backend services. So it's like you can say network hop, increased network hop is there in this where we are coordinating with. Initially, it was working very well, and when the scale increases, traffic increases, this proxy layer becomes a bottleneck for us. Now, what we have currently, I'll show you that. So this is like once we do this migration, we achieved a clean, modular, and solid aligned system. Now our views are in mostly Swift UI or UI kit. We use view models for business logic. Basically, we follow MVVM architecture, and we have one design library. And for navigation, we use coordinators. So this aligned perfectly with the Swiggy's clean architecture direction. So this is how now. So food, IM, dine out, scenes, gift tables, and lot of other BLs, we directly coordinate with backend, and like this this proves us like how we can like improve our latency, how this works in a like very high scale, and this is working very well for us. Now I tell you about the migration strategy. Migration was not very easy to do because we were serving millions of users, and we don't want to like interrupt any of the services because it will impact our revenue and everything. So how we did, we identified our high impact RN screens, which are loading slow, which are very media heavy, complex UI, For example, dine out home, our collection screen, our search. So these are our L1 screens. We identified these. We migrated those into a native like module. And then, so what we did, we had one proxy layer. We migrated that logic which we had there on our service layer, which we currently call like discovery. We moved it to there, and we started like screen by screen replacement. So it was like it's very difficult on this scale to do a big bang rewrite and to do a big bang release. So we started rolling out to very small populations. We ensured both RN and native versions could run behind a flag. We used XP to, and then once we are like confident enough, our screens are working fine, and we got very good gains. And really, I'll tell you about the impact, how it is, but we got really good gains after this. So then we started moving our all L2 pages. We removed the JS bundle completely from the app, which by which we achieved a very less app size, and the way like architecture is much cleaner. Now I'll tell you the impact, what we achieved with this lighter app. See, we achieved 10% app size reduction, which is huge, guys. Like we try to do 1 MB, and it took a lot of time. And when we saw 10% app size reduction, everyone is like, oh, and this is like not the only thing we achieved. I'll tell you more. And with this, obviously, we had faster installs, updates, everything. And then we removed our Apollo GraphQL layer, and we Flare, we are directly connected with backend, and currently we are using Autos. So native modules consumes backend APIs directly, which reduce API latency, faster response, and very good success rates. Our crash rates are also down. Our interactions are smooth. This we are not only telling, our numbers are telling like interactions were smooth, and our customers were telling like this is a very good change. And if I talk about the long term benefits, it's like we created modular widgets, which like we can use in all the BLs across food, dine out, Instamart, everywhere. We create one widget, and it reduces our engineering effort by 30-40% for like our UIs. For example, if we want to launch a new page, we can do it. We have already widgets, and we can plug and play. Now we have unified design system. We have like less dependency on cross-platform lifecycle issues, because in React Native we face like this is working in Android, this is not working in iOS. And uh, initially we started with some checks, yeah, if this is Android, if this is iOS. But when the code grew and we have lot of like complex UIs, we have lot of complex things, then like it was a total mess, literally. So this is not the thing. I'll tell you like most exciting outcomes we had with this migration. App launch 45% faster, homepage 48% faster, collection page 53% faster, and like RDP pages approx 68% faster. So these are the number, guys. Like these are meaningful drop we can see, and users can also see our performance comparison, everyone, because this is a huge number. Now I'll tell you like the conclusion of our talk. React Native was perfect for our 0 to 1 journey. It really works well. It proves like that is the stack which we can work on for our 0 to 1 journey. It helps us in launching fast, but for 1 to N scale, native became essential. So I'll say React Native helped us in launch fast, and native is helping us scale fast. Yeah, that's short, guys. Thank you. I'm happy to take questions. Yeah, Kashif. Yeah, this is same we did for Android app also.
Just a question, Aviran. Basically, have you tried like CMP as well, or just do native from React Native you have migrated?
Yeah, from React Native we migrated to native only.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
Uh,
that was our stack which we are using in food, and that is already proving us scale because food was at very good scale. So yeah,
hey, hi,
uh,
Avram. So, I have a question regarding the load times. So, when you say,
okay,
can you go back to the screen of the faster load times, 44% faster, or
yeah.
right? So, how did you exactly check on the load times exactly? Do you use some tools? Do you use some like debug statements, or how did you actually manage to
So
test and compare the
basically,
load times? Yeah.
yeah, sure. So I'll tell you. So we just push the event and the timing when user opens the screen, and then we basically checks when it loads, and then we stop that stack trace, and that's how we calculate how much time it will take to load everything.
So for a revamp like this, usually the load times would be end of the feature development cycle, right? Because the
Okay.
submitting the events and we'll need some data to accumulate before we can.
So yeah, we started with our L1 pages. See, our agenda was ki, like in React Native, we had lot of inconsistencies with the UI. We have in food, and other BLs were also using native. And food already proved us ki, like this is the scale which native can handle. So what we did, we started with our L1 pages, and once we migrated those, we started with single page. And then when we saw like it is giving us huge wins, then we started with the another things.
Okay, I have one small question around this. Does the load times differ if you have felt that way? If does the load time differ between a debug build versus a test flight build, or because I've felt that the debug builds are usually a little slower as compared to the test flight build when you download directly on the device. So how which
So
platform did you test this on, and if you feel this way? Yeah.
So we are using all test flight to test. But if I talk about debug builds, and in debug builds, we mostly use JSON, and in test flight builds and in release builds, we use Protos. So the obviously Protos are faster, and JSONs are little bit slower and like everything. So that's how not very major difference. And when you obviously run a release build versus a debug build, there will be a difference.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take questions. Android side, which language used? Same, Kotlin. And so no, entire Swiggy app was not in React Native. Entire Swiggy app was in native only. Food was in native from start. We used React Native for dine out and minis, and we that React Native bundle is sitting inside that native app. That's how it works. Hope my this answers your question. Uh, yeah, so iOS, our minimum iOS version was like 14, like few days back till last week. Now we have updated it to like 16. We were supporting till iOS 14. Yeah, current UIs are server driven. Everything is derived from server. So Rahul, so like this to complete migration, see, so we had to do a, you can say, revamp or something for our React Native pages. So then we thought of the solution. The newer revamped version will sit in native, and the older version will sit in React Native. That was UI revamp, nothing like any architectural revamp or something. So we chose native over there, and it took around like uh, 5 to 6 months to migrate completely with the newer things and everything. How you replace App Store build from? It was the same app, none. So basically, we had the same app, Swiggy app. Instead of loading RN bundle, we are just loading like native screens now. Yeah, Vinash, we use Jetpack and cycle for iOS. I think if you like joined previous talks with I think Garima and everyone gave. So we have mix of both Swift UI and UI kit. M- Now we are trying to create major views in Swift UI, and yeah, we are also using texture. So that's how our architecture is. This is I think why MVVM over other, because we feel like it is clean. Why did Swiggy go
Um,
native from beginning? Yeah, that's like long time backstory when Swiggy started in 2014. So they started with native only, and at that time React Native was also not that powerful. So initially people generally uses native only.
well, I do have a question, so I can relate it to hands.
Related
Uh,
to,
hands application hanging. So, is there any
yeah.
specific strategies are you guys using to tackle that one?
So majorly hangs we were checking, we were like running profiling on our apps and everything. We check all the screens where the hangs are happening, and we try to optimize that thing majorly, like while you can say when parsing our proto, like encoding decoding of that. So that's how we see our we profile our app, profile screen by screen, and manage our hangs.
Okay.
This is we are doing server driven. Yeah, every widget is server driven. And yes, server driven, I can explain, but it will take some time. So if time permits, so I can definitely explain. Let's take this in the end. Navigation, we are using like coordinators for navigation. And for CI/CD, we are using Bitrise. You write new features. Yeah. So when we started using SwiftUI in all over the app, our performance was down because we are where we have paginations, where we have very media heavy, where we have lotties. SwiftUI was not performing well till the date, but now S- SwiftUI is like improved. So we are moving a lot of our components, at least views in the SwiftUIs. Yeah, there is definitely performance issues between like Swift UI and UI kit, and yeah, we are now mostly migrating to Swift UI. No, we haven't used Flutter. Liquid Glass UI, that's like completely a business and product call which we are not taking. How you replace screens in native one by one, right? So you have to upload full app after converting all screen, or you release when it require, and then no, so basically, how we did, we maintain our navigation and in native. So for all the uh, React Native screens, we move it to React Native bundle, and for native screens, we open the native bundle, like native screen. So when we started with, for example, if we started with Dine Out Home, so there is a deep link to that, and when that deep link triggers, we check if for that user we wants to show, like for example, we rolled out XP to 1%. If for that user we want to show, like for example, native, so we take it to native, and then when we, if we wants to show the older version React Native, we just might like move it to React Native, and React Native will handle the navigation. Data storage, like we don't store much data in the app only. We we have everything server driven, and like storage we are not using. App size, our app size is around 158 MB. Yeah, I think I've answered all the questions. Anything else you guys want to, how we can maintain the app size? It's like, see, in when we do release, we always compares it with the previous one, whether if there is any increase in app size, if there are any assets loaded to it, if there are any unoptimized assets or anything, we compare it. We check what all things are added in that release, and we try to optimize that. That's how like we maintain the app size. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aviral, for the session and answering all the questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can like connect with me later, and I'll be happy to help you everyone. Thank you. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you. So yeah, moving on to our next talk for the day. It is on turning an iPhone into a film-ready virtual camera. Uh, so I would like to welcome Yashwant, who is currently a iOS developer at Brick and Bolt.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Yashwant. And before diving into what my project really is, I just want you guys to give a small background about myself. So, I started my photography when I was 16 years of age, and in my college also I was cinematography and photography club lead. So basically, I loved light. I loved playing with lights, framing, and composition, and that slowly pushed me into 3D and animations. And with this, I've also done 3 years of freelancing in 3D animations and modeling. And right now, I'm working as an iOS developer at Brick and Bolt. And the project that I'm showing you today, the virtual production camera, it basically combines both of my interests, like 3D artist in me who wanted to build better tools, and a developer who can build them. So let me just share my screen for the presentation. Just give me a minute. So I'm really sorry, the Wi-Fi just cut down. So yeah, so let's just start with this. So I'm really sorry, the light was gone. So So basically, what this virtual production for Blender is. So basically, in professional filmmaking, people usually use virtual production pipelines. So they basically use expensive hardwares to track a real camera and control virtual camera inside Unreal Engine or Blender. So this costs them a lot of money, but our phones, especially the iPhone, already have amazing sensors. It has all the sensors we need for this kind of setup, like AR kit, LiDAR, gyroscope, accelerometer, everything we have. So just to give you a little bit of context, let me just play one video of Veta Digital, where they are showing how they prepared this 6 years back. So I hope you guys seen that. So basically, this is how 6 years back they created this pipeline and used it in filming Avatar for performance capture and real life camera movement for cinematographers. So the main objective for this is to track the real-time tracking. The phone basically tracks your position and rotation. If I move my phone forward, the camera inside the blender also moves forward instantly, and everything works over Wi-Fi using TCP sockets, and you don't need any cable. You can just walk freely around, and uh, the perfect angles will be automatically transferred to the Blender's camera, and you can even record the keyframes. Also change focal length and camera sensors, which I'm currently working on, and it can be a complete filmmaking tool. And this yeah, this is just we are using ARK translations, and I'm using TCP sockets for now for zero lag streaming, and Python APIs for controlling the Blender's add-on and camera. So this is my current implementation, where I can just walk around, move my camera around, and the Blender's camera automatically copies every position rotation of my iPhone. So let's move towards the architectural pipeline. So basically, for this, the engineering part which I did was to just set up a iOS application and a Blender add-on. And the way I'm connecting it through TCP socket. Okay, so the entire application is written in Swift UI. I have used ARKit, which runs 60 frames per second for the data transfer, and every frame it's sending the position, rotation, and other details to Blender's add-on, and the data is sent using JSON through TCP socket. And the other hand, I'm using Blender server, which is also working on the TCP client only, and it is entirely written in Python, and it runs on it also receives the JSON packets and converts into camera movement whatever the data is coming from my iPhone. And under the hood, the limitations and the area where I faced difficulties were the area like Blender's system uses Z up position, and ARKit uses Y-up position. So initially, when I'm moving my phone forward, the camera in Blender is going upside. So it is not following the correct orientation which I wanted. So the solution to this is I created a world anchor, and when you tap on the screen, it just automatically sets that tappable area into 0 point. And then when I'll movement is calculated, it is relatively to that particular point that I tapped. And this allows me to reset the origin anywhere. And in Python add-on, even after fixing this, the anchor thing, the axes were not right. So I created the matrix with just rotating the entire axis into 90 degrees. So yeah, this is what fixed my orientation issues. And after that, my Blender camera is completely in sync with my phone. And one more challenge that I'm still facing is um, I wanted to share the viewport of my Blender directly to my camera. But right now, I'm trying to stream the Blender's viewport. It's not working. So it is working, but for the lighter scenes. But if we have a heavy scene, let's say millions of polygons there, so it is taking a lot of time, and sometimes the app is also getting crashed. So in future, I'm planning to switch to streaming it using UDP. So instead of lagging, it will simply drop frames. So this will make video somewhat smoother, or um, at the bottleneck, it won't crash my app. So basically, this tool is seriously changed my own workflow, and bringing this feeling into cinematography and in Blender. And if you want to check out the code or see some of my 3D work, you can just scan this portfolio and visit my website. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Yashwant. Any questions from anyone? Okay, there's one question. So, is there any link of this project available? Is what they're asking, Yash.
So I'm planning to publish it on App Store next week. So right now, as of now, it's not available. But you can connect me after this session. I can provide you the GitHub repo link or to walk you through the application. Yes, there is real world use. You can check out my ArtStation page where I've created one video. And at that time, I don't have any prior uh, experience in 3D and animation. So I just animated the camera handheld entirely through keyframes. But as I am more into cinematography and all those stuff, so I wanted the camera to film like I am filming it in real life. So this just solves that problem for me. So I just have to create a Blender scene entirely and just roam around with my iPhone to animate the camera, just like I do in real life. Basically, it's just transferring the packets using TCP client and the 60 hertz frame rate. It's basically just transferring the position rotation data. But when I'm trying to get the viewport display also, it's dropping frames and sometimes crashing the app also. So that is the thing which I'm working on right now. And 60 hertz frame, it's I'm using this network manager for NW connection. It's basically Apple's proprietary networking class, which allows you to host or transfer TCP data at very lower latency. So yeah, this is how I'm getting 60 hertz transferring of the data. Not basically. See, what my application is doing, it is it is using ARKit, right? So it tracks every point which is present in the scene. Whatever point it is seeing through my iPhone's camera, it is mapping that and tracking the camera. And after that, position, rotation, and the distance from which a particular point is distance from my camera, it is transferring all those information to my Blender's add-on. So it's not basically 2D, it is 3D only because three-dimensional data is being transferred.
Hi, Ashram. So I do have a question. So in this one, so when we are tracking the camera, so whether the UI represents the Blender, I mean Blender 3Ds or positions in the application itself, or else it's gonna just track the position of camera and directly put it on the Blender for a videography. Because why I'm asking this is as from user experience perspective. So when I'm going with a mobile, I cannot imagine the entire 3D in three of the entire things. So if the project is a bit huge, multiple models and multiple scenes, so it is quite hard to track. So that's why I just want to know, curious to know. So is there any way in the application itself it shows a Blender models and then try to track likewise?
Uh, Basically, it's not. Let me just clarify one thing. It's not
Hmm.
tracking Blender's object, okay? It is,
Okay.
we are using ARKit, right? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
ARKit, what it does is it creates anchors.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
whatever my camera is seeing, it is tracking those things. I mean, if I'm filming something, so we can track a particular point, right? So, it is
Hmm.
tracking that point, and after that point, if we have three things in a particular parallelly with some depth. So the particular thing which is near to the camera will move slowly and very the and the thing which is far from the camera moves fast. Okay, so it
Hmm.
calculates ARKit calculates um, that distance measurement and converts that data into 3D camera data. And Blender can get that raw data and interpret it and transfer to the position and rotation keyframes.
Okay.
So that is what happening there. It's not calculating the Blender's objects, because there might be the cases where the scene is too much heavy and we
Hmm.
can't just track all those things. That's why it's 60 FPS, because it's not taking any data from the Blender. It's just uh, the ARKit is just tracking the camera and sending that data in JSON format to the Blender's add-on. That's
Okay,
it.
okay. Then in Blender you can adjust or add any, I mean, any big assets. Those possibilities
Yeah,
be
yeah.
there.
Any
Okay,
scene. We can use
okay,
it in
okay,
any scene.
okay, okay. Got it, got it. Thank you.
So I haven't Hello. So
Yeah, seems to be a network issue on Yashwant's side. Let's just wait for a couple minutes if he's gonna join back.
the electricity has gone. So it's the last question that I've seen. No, as of now, I've not decided to monetize it because uh, during my freelance period for the past 3 years, I've already taken so much from the Blender community. So this small project of mine is just the contribution to that community, which has given so much to me. So yeah, I'm not monetizing it. The applications, you can create a Blender. If I'm a 3D artist, I'll create a 3D scene. And as a photographer and cinematographer, I also love to capture that scene in whatever freedom I can. So I can just use it like a real camera and click photos or create cinematic videos from there. Because the earlier we used to do is manually keyframing the camera, and it's very tiresome. So yeah, I mean, if you have watched Avatar, so they are also using the same kind of thing, same kind of production cameras. They've built it using very costly mechanism. They have used gyroscopes, cables, and all those stuff. But as of 2025, we can easily get all those information, all those data from my iPhone. So why can't we use that thing? There are a lot of applications of it.
Yeah. Yes, Yashwant. I think those were all the questions. Thank you so much for the session and answering all the questions.
Yeah, thank you.
So once again, thanking both the speakers for the day. Here's the certificate of appreciation. We'll be sharing this after the session. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I would like to hand it over to Sabapati. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Kanagasabapati Rajkumar. So both of them who presented today are first time speakers, but they did an excellent job. Aviral gave a good talk about why Swiggy Dine-Out moved to native iOS from React Native, and Yashwant delivered good insights about turning an iPhone into a film-ready virtual camera. Thank you both. I would like to request everyone to get ready for the picture. We'll be taking a picture in a while. And I request each and everyone follow us on the socials so that you will get the latest updates about the events, meetups, and you can scan the QR code. So happy to introduce the team behind the scenes. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and everyone for their dedication and support. So we hosted many events, and these were the previous venues. Thank you for the sponsors. Volunteers are invited to collaborate with us for various opportunities, such as who can help us in graphic designing, writing blogs, posting iOS jobs, and so on. Volunteering in figuring out the venue sponsors. You can let us know even if your employer is willing to sponsor a venue. In terms of Swift open source, you can create an issue and ask for help in the group and contribute to the open source code, like a framework or libraries, any other things. So let's all gather and turn on the camera to capture this moment. So requesting everyone again to turn on the camera. Thank you. So we are going to have a breakout rooms, fun-filled networking. So before that, we would like to announce that our next meetup will be at CRM, uh, 31st January 2026. So I would like to invite everyone to come and gather for this next event. So we are going to have a breakout rooms, fun-filled networking, so you can connect with the new people, share your experience and insights about your learnings and knowledge.